today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome back to another episode of Shop Talk. Today we're talking about 809 of the Rookie, titled Fun and Games, which featured members of Dropout's Game Changer cast. So it was like a mini crossover. We'll dive into our recap of the episode right after we discuss one item in our news section.
We have the 811 episode description titled Aftermath. So Lucy returns to work in the aftermath of the attack. Meanwhile, an unexpected twist hinders the Leon Glasser case, and a familiar face helps the team track down a killer. So we know in 810 she gets attacked, which I kind of hate that they spoiled that, but whatever.
People
So,
already had their theories and did all
yeah,
the dissecting of the earlier promos that featured that
yeah. And
quick little scene.
yeah. But
So
still, it kind of stinks that ABC spoiled it, but
yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's
I'm
still
just
big
surprised.
enough.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that next week for 810 will be zombies again, and it's not Halloween, so I'm not used to it being
Yeah,
normal, a normal time period,
yeah,
and then it being absolute chaos like that.
yeah. And we know too that in 811, Aaron Thorson comes back. He's the familiar face.
How do
So,
we know that again?
because there was a behind the scenes picture shared, a couple of them, I think, and someone had
Oh,
seen
right,
him
right, right,
on set. And then it was also in the same week or something that Seth Gable was seen on set. So,
right,
just assuming, I think they might have even been pictured together. I don't know, but yeah,
right. I
yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
Um, I like how we're having some familiar faces this season. Like even in this episode, it was in the description that Nolan runs into a familiar face.
Mhm.
So we're bringing people back, which is good.
Yeah.
Still no promo pics from 809, which, at this point we don't really need them. We've already seen the episode, but I just think
Yeah.
it's hilarious at this point.
No, it is.
I thought at least they would drop them last night after the episode because they
Right.
usually drop a few or a good handful and then we'll drop more after the episode, but nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So yeah. So with that we'll just get right into the episode. It's crazy to think that we're already halfway through season 8,
Mhm.
which I have thoughts on. I don't want it to be over, but we still have 8 more weeks, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Um this first storyline we could have done without, but without further ado, so we have the game show dropout and then or game changer and then Nolan and Amora. So they're writing again. Selena's all excited. She's like, there's no pressure of evaluation and I can let my freak flag fly. Try saying that 3 times fast.
No, I can't.
Um, and this whole scene I felt was so weird, but it also just went back to their dynamic of
Yeah.
her saying too much and she's like, "Oh, I need to stop talking right now." He gives her a look and she quickly backtracks and she's like, "No, I have no frequets, secrets." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Go on with your freaky self or whatever." And I was like, "This is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know." It was just kind of weird. So they get a call to a TV studio and see Game Changer telling everyone to come out. The host, Sam, who also has a cardboard cutout of himself,
Right.
says that they were in the middle of filming when 2 guys with guns came in and stole all of their equipment. So we find out that they do shows based around improv comedy. The contestants add some commentary, and Nolan tells Selena that, he thinks the path forward is to take witness statements separately. So we start seeing all that, and it's just all over the place. I had whiplash following it. The second watch around, I was like, I can't. This is too much.
Yeah.
So, one acts like she's in a courtroom and she panics, saying all different things. The host, Sam, tells Nolan how he got started in comedy. And after he's explaining how he ended up where he's at, um, he asks Nolan again what his question was. And Nolan's just like, looking off into the abyss and he's just like, I'm done. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
this is too much for me.
Yeah.
So, another can't believe that they lost all the footage that they shot. He mentions his Dame Judy butthole bit, saying it was probably some of the best work of his career. And he's like, it's kind of coming back to me, and no one questions the suspect's license plate. But we find out that it's the bit that's coming back to him. And I'm like, okay, do we really need to do this right now? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, so he asks if he can do it real quick so he doesn't forget. And he's like, you can even record it on your body cam and then text it to me. Yeah, because that's what he's gonna do, like when he's on shift. So Selena asks another if the suspects had any distinctive qualities, like accents or anything. The contestant then starts speaking in some accents, even imitating Dracula, because that's helpful right now.
It was so
I
weird.
honestly commend John and Selena for like having the patience to deal with that. Also, the body cam footage had to have been hysterical to watch
Yeah.
because I'm assuming it was on. So then another witness Nolan is interviewing says he promises to answer his questions, but he needs a regular, not funny person's opinion of the scenario. And he's like, will you give it to me? And Nolan's like, no, I'm not. Like, yeah, at this point, we're done. We're done with all of this. So then Dash, the drone kid from the desert in the season 7 finale, walks in and has one of the robbers' wallets in his hand. And he's like, do you need this? Um, it turns out that Dash and his mom moved to LA after it didn't work out in Vegas, and she's a hand model now. He ended up getting a part-time job with Game Changer where while he waits to graduate high school. So Selena comes back with the suspect's name and, says he is prior, so they're gonna go pick him up. They pick up Mark Wyatt, and in the shop, he's saying all of these things, talking about the number of insects in the world, talking about all these statistics and how him dropping his wallet and someone picking it up, putting it at the crime scene isn't unlikely. And I'm just like, again, where are we going with this? I am so
Yeah.
confused. And this is just like continuing on. I'm like, okay, what was the point of all of this? I don't get
No
it.
idea.
So Selena's like, yeah, well, we're still putting you in the lineup and seeing if the victims can identify you. And he's like, that's fair. So what was the point of just arguing all of that? Like, just stay quiet because you're just incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
So Selena asks how many of those quintillion insects are spiders, and he talks about how many insects are on each continent except for Antarctica, and she's like, I might have to move there. But today we're gonna see if you lose the lineup lottery. So the lineup is happening with everyone from Game Changer in the viewing room. Again, just mass chaos. Also, isn't the lineup supposed to be like each person individually? Like I
You
feel
would
like
think so.
that's better.
Well, it
I
was
don't.
like because Nolan was like explaining it,
Yeah.
saying how like, you can't like do like so I thought after that whole thing, after he explains things, I thought he was gonna like we were gonna see like,
Them
you
all
know,
like leave. Yeah.
yeah, and like cuts of, like
Yeah.
each one saying this or that and the other thing. But no.
That would be the rational way to do it, but no, we chose chaos in this episode. Like after he explains everything, one of the contestants responds with, "Yes, Daddy." And Nolan just turns around. And I tweeted out, I was like, "Do you think that they know about Daddy Cop?"
Yeah, and you were right on the ball with
Yeah.
the rookie caption.
Yeah. I was like, listen, immediately as someone says daddy in front of Nolan, that's where my mind goes, is the daddy cop stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the kid who plays Zash is Xander Hawley's brother. So I'm like, okay, that's just
Oh,
fitting.
that's right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So the contestants started talking about the lineup, kind of like talking shit about them, talk about their appearance, imitating how they would talk. And I'm just like, oh my God, can we just like move along with this whole storyline? So Selena tries to get them back on track, asking if they recognize anyone or not. But we find out the suspects are wearing masks. Or were wearing masks. So one contestant's like, maybe I'll recognize the guy's voice. I'm like, finally, someone who's like rational with this. So Nolan's expressions though throughout this entire thing is hilarious. He's reevaluating everything, hating everything about this. The first guy in the lineup reads the phrase that was said during the robbery. And the contestants critique it, with one asking if they can make the lineup say anything that they want. And so the contestant who asked this uses the moment to go up to the mic and is like, "Can you recite the speech from The Fugitive?" And even the lineup suspects are just so annoyed by this. And Mark White's like, "I'll do it," and starts reciting the speech. So all the contestants are enthralled by this. You would think that they would be like, "Yeah, that's him. That's the robber," you
You would
know?
think.
No, no. They just, keep just they're so thralled with it. And Nolan and Selena are, just hoping that this is their break in the case. So the contestants take it further with the host asking, if they can see a chemistry read, and Nolan's like, obviously no. The contestants ask if they can make the lineup suspects do other weird things, and Nolan's just like, we're done. We're done with all of this. So Nolan's talking to Dash, who drove the dropout guys to the lineup. Because, yes, put a 16-year-old kid in charge of driving. How many of
Right.
these adults?
Yeah.
I know, at least for where I live, like at 16, you can't drive more than one person in the car. So I'm like,
That's
okay,
very true.
yeah. Um, so Dash is like, oh, or because no one's like, oh, so they left you here then. And Dash is like, oh, that's why they asked for the minivan keys. Dang, I'm gonna have to wait for my mom to pick me up. So he asks Nolan if they helped him with the lineup, and then he's like, wait, that was a stupid question. They wouldn't. And so Nolan asks why Dash works for them, and he says that they pay him surprisingly well. Listen, I would have to get paid surprisingly well too to deal with all of them and
Mhm.
to drive them around like that. Like that, no, no.
Yeah.
So Nolan goes back to the station to see Dash is still waiting, and he's like, I just finished with an arrest, I'll take you home. So Dash is like, can we go with the lights and sirens on? To which Nolan's like, no, but you can use the radio to tell dispatch that she has a sexy voice. Why is that even a thought that comes out of his mouth? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
And Dash is like, really? And no one's like, no. So why? Why even hint
Yeah, I
at
don't.
that? So then Dash gets a text from Sam, and the host, that says, "Where's our equipment? You weren't supposed to steal it for real. I'm not paying you unless you bring it back." And then Dash gets a second text that says the first one was a mistake and not meant for him. Nolan's reaction gets me. This was like an April Fool's episode, take two. Like it should have been staged
Yeah.
for April Fools, honestly. Because I
Yeah.
feel like
No,
this whole
something else.
storyline was Fools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nolan is interviewing Sam, the host, and it mentions the potential punishment he could get for making false statements to the police. And Sam's like, we do crazy stunts all the time on the show, and I thought I was hiring actors to play fake robbers, and they were supposed to interrupt the show with the fake robbery and then, return all of the stuff. So he says that he never thought his casting breakdown for armed robbers would attract actual armed robbers. So no one's like, do you have the names of phone numbers for the men who stole your stuff? Sam's like, I have their Venmos. So he reads off the first one, and it is Robbers 88. And he's like, yeah, I should have seen that one coming. Yeah, you know what? I don't feel bad for you anymore. Like, I really
No.
don't. I really don't. And I just know that if Gray was in with all of this, he would just be face palming so hard that, like, his hand would just be permanently, like, placed on his forehead. So I'm
Yeah.
like, no, for real. Like, what is going on? This is a crazy storyline.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I
So,
could have done without the storyline for sure.
yeah.
Because then we get into the Harper and Penn of it all, and I'm like, I would much rather see that. So,
Yeah. Which was like another robbery,
yeah,
different robbery, but it
yeah,
was interesting that both these crimes were robberies this episode.
yeah.
Yeah. But so for Harper and Penn, we find out that they'll be paired up for the foreseeable future as Tio and Rookie, and we see them find out about it in like the like separate spaces in the locker room, and Miles isn't thrilled. like that no one's telling him this because apparently Nyla makes Tim Bradford look like Mr. Rogers, and Nyla's not a fan of like Penn's Southern charm, I guess. That and Lucy was like not even like wanting to tell her at first, but she was like, no, you have to because undercover work, you have a special bond, therefore you have to tell me. And she's like, okay, fine. So they will be working together, and Nyla is going to like switch it up on Miles and told him that he's going to be acting as the training officer for the day, and she's going to act like a first day on the job rookie so that she can see if he's worth her training time. So while on patrol, Nyla is schooling Miles on how to decide like which calls to take based on time and location, plus their distance from it and where they could be of the most assistance, which apparently is tracking the escape route of bank robbers. So they end up taking that robbery call, and they catch two of the robbers that were two women who were in a car. They were both injured, with one of the women being shot like very, very badly. And so they're both shipped off to the hospital. We also see Angela meeting them there because apparently there was a third robber who got away in this chaos. So like she needs to track them down. Penn had told Harper that he was gonna go watch over the girls to see if the one who was badly shot would make it out of surgery or not. And I thought it was nice that like even though we had Angela trusting Nyla's detective skills, she still like turned it around and was like told Miles, well, okay, since I'm the rookie for the day, you're gonna like actually do the interrogation or interview of Finley, who was the girl that ended up surviving, because her girlfriend, who was the second woman, died of her injuries on the table, apparently, which is part of how Miles begins his like discussion with Finley in her hospital room. And Nyla's there too, kind of watching as he's discussing the events with her, including, why they needed to rob a bank in the first place. And apparently, even though Finley was at Stanford and she wanted to like, live together with her girlfriend and like have a good life and everything, like she had this crippling student debt that was not going to allow for that to happen. So basically, they needed cash ASAP, hence the bank robbery. And then we see Finley's grandmother arrive at the hospital, and she's eager to see her granddaughter, but first Miles instructs Nyla to like pat her down and hold her purse. Then she's allowed in the room. At first, I thought that was gonna like reveal something like extra important or something,
Yeah.
like with holding the purse or whatever. But we see as Finley and her grandmother hug, Angela comes in and like briefs them on the news that apparently Finley's grandmother Maeve's prints were found, and they tied her not only to this robbery but the one she committed back in the 80s. So yeah, Finley's grandmother is now in trouble too, and so she's like obviously upset as Maeve's arrested. And I was just like kind of thinking, poor Finley, she lost her girlfriend and her grandmother in one go.
Yeah. But also,
Not
what a plot
good,
twist.
right? Yeah.
That was crazy. I was not expecting that from the grandma.
No, I was not either. And so at the end of shift, Nyla and Miles are discussing their day, and Penn started to evaluate himself when Harper reminded him that it's not all about him, aka he needs to evaluate her as a quote unquote rookie. Um, and so he said that, she's knowledgeable and that it's admirable how even though she knows more and knows better than he does, that she doesn't that she didn't take over things today and kind of let him lead a bit. And Harper told him that she'll see him tomorrow, so he's not fired from being her rookie just yet. So
Mhm.
Harper and Penn, that duo will live on another day.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited. I like them.
yeah. I was just surprised that like we didn't get like an official nickname for Miles unless you
Yeah,
count the Texas Lemon thing from like Nyla in the beginning in the locker room.
I
Because
don't.
then she was like when she was talking or whatever and Miles was, um, trying to be like all, nice and polite, which was totally fine. But she was like, unless you want your nickname to be Askisser, like you
Yeah,
better, like smarten up. And I was just like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, let's not have that be his nickname. So it has
yeah,
to be something else. So like, I
yeah.
wonder if we'll ever get one of those.
I I thought it was going to be Texas Lemon, but I don't count that because she didn't say to his face.
Yeah,
But I loved how she was like she told Nolan and Tim. She was like, "You guys both had your chance and you screwed up. So let me, a woman, take care of it." And I was like, "You go, girl. Like you do this." Because listen, Nyla will set him straight. Nyla will get him like through this.
yeah,
So I loved it. I don't know. I saw someone had posted and they were like, "So she had 5 minutes for Aaron, right? Didn't she
yeah.
have?" One with the five for Nolan too. I thought she did. Maybe not.
Five
I
percent
5%, maybe? Yeah. It was like 5%,
Oh,
5 minutes, and then someone was like, What's this next one gonna be for Miles? Like
yeah,
fifth chance or something? I don't know. But
yeah. Well, like when she was like at the end or whatever, because he was like, oh, okay, so I'm still, like have my second chance or whatever, and I
yeah,
was like, oh, okay, maybe that's gonna be it. But like she didn't
yeah,
actually say it, and then like that was the end scene for them anyway, unless you count the like celebratory
yeah.
birthday party for Nyla at the like towards the very end of the episode, I guess, with like James and
Hmm.
Angela and Wesley, but like that didn't have anything to do with Miles. It just happened to be about her detective
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. But it was still like a good scene. Like
Yeah.
she's right. Like I would have never thought to like celebrate that.
Hmm.
Because normally you wouldn't, but she still has her job. She's just demoted,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, I just love how Detective Nyla Harper is very different from Detective or T.O. Harper is very different from Detective Harper, even though she's still got the detective title.
Yeah.
It's like she shifts into a different, like, I don't know, personality. It's the best. I love it.
Yeah.
And I hope that I mean, I'm sure that it will last for more than just a couple of episodes, but like, I hope that it lasts for a little bit longer
Hmm.
because I don't want it to just be like wrapped up. And with all this Liam Glasser stuff, it would be really interesting to see like how she navigates that, being back in uniform and like being back on patrol.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I saw someone comment, they were like, I kind of want them to get back over to the Wesley DA stuff. Like, I kind of forgot about that. And I was like, wait, yeah, like we need to get back over to that because that's a huge storyline too. So,
Yep. I want to know if he's like officially in or,
yeah.
you know.
I'm honestly like thinking back to this episode though, I'm honestly kind of surprised that they kept Nyla going back to patrol such a secret so well.
Yeah.
Like with all the behind the scenes like TikToks and stuff that they share. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. I just wasn't. But
Yeah.
like her being back in uniform, like it's cool that they kept it a secret. So,
Hmm. Definitely.
so next we have perhaps the saddest storyline of them all. You guys, Wade and Luna are going through it.
Right.
Also, apparently they're called Wuna now, which I don't hate. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I loved Angel Parker like sharing all of the Luna like content today. It
Hmm.
was some behind the scenes pictures and stuff, but people were like making those like obituary things and like
Yeah.
rest in peace. And I'm like, wait, well, wait, no, no, they're not done yet. They're not done
Right.
yet. And even Angel was like, have some faith. They're gonna be fine. Like, we're gonna figure it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we need
Hope
to.
so. Yeah.
You know how people like say, like, you don't watch 911, but like Bobby Nash was Peepaw?
Okay.
Well, people do. I don't know. People, I'm sure,
Oopsie.
probably say that about other shows too. They're like, he's like my grandpa. Like, it's fine.
Oopsie.
I don't see that for Wade and Luna,
No.
but they are very much like our safe stability, like parents on the show.
Oh well, yeah, you would think so up
Yeah.
until now.
Yeah. I mean, so is
Clearly.
like Angela and Wesley and like, James and Nyla, like they're the safe couple for the most part. Like, they're the comfort couple. But this one was hard to watch. So Wade is dropping Luna off at work. They're gonna take her car in for some maintenance when Dr. Ashton walks in, aka Charles Michael Davis, and starts telling her that she's his savior, and they laugh. And Wade clocks it. He's clocking it all, baby. And Luna introduces them because she's kind of like being a little flirty, like she's kind of like, oh, here's my work husband and then my real husband. You know that that's what she's thinking. Um, so we find out that Dr. Ashton just started a couple months ago and spent the last 5 years working for Doctors Without Borders. And I loved how Greg was like, so I haven't seen you around here before. Like he was asking
Right.
in like the nosy, like protective husband way, and I was like, oh, I love this so much. Like he
Yeah.
feels so like bothered by it.
Yeah.
And then when he finds out that Dr. Ashton worked for Doctors Without Borders, he's like, how noble of you. Dr. Ashton's like, not as noble as what you do. And Gray's like, yeah,
Um,
okay, like whatever.
yeah.
So Wade goes to Luna's car and is looking for something, opens the center console, finds a flower and a pair of men's sunglasses. And he's like,
I
these
could
are not
not,
mine.
for the life of me, figure out what he was holding in his hand after he put the flower down. So like I
Yeah,
was like thanking God that they like actually ended up saying it like in
yeah,
the next scene because I was like I literally rewound it on my DVR and like played it again and I still couldn't figure it out because they
yeah,
just showed him from the one side. So I was like, what? What is this?
yeah.
So I was so confused for the
Well,
split
at
second.
first I was like, oh, it's her sunglasses. But then it was the look that he had. I was like, no, those aren't hers. And they're definitely not his.
No.
So, um, So Wade then gets off at the wrong floor. He's obviously not like thinking clearly. And Nolan asks if everything's okay. And, Wade's like, yeah, I found something. And Nolan's like, it doesn't necessarily mean that, what you found is like anything that important. And so Nolan offers some advice, talk to his wife or Snoop, but, highly recommends talking to his wife. And so Gray's going to take Luna out to lunch when he sees Dr. Ashton and her talking, and she's all smiley around him. But Luna's like, I'm about to accompany him on his assessments in case any patient advocates come up. Girl, I'm sure you want to. Like, yeah, I'm sure she accompanies him on a lot of those. So she suggests going to dinner, and she's like, I shouldn't be too late. And so he goes to get on the elevator, but decides that he's going to tell her what he found until the couple glued together comes out of the elevator. So Gray's like, did you drive there like that? And they're like, of course, we're not going to take the bus.
I
Um,
don't see how, but okay,
yeah,
go off, guys.
yeah. So Gray shows his badge because they're like, oh, snippy. And he's like, well, it's clear you were engaged in a domestic dispute based on the positioning of your hands. And so they're like, it's not what you think. And as Luna starts to leave to get to the doctor, the guy stops her. And she's like, do not tell me there's glue on your hand. And he's like, oops. This guy really is not smart at all.
No.
Like you're already in this situation with your partner. Why would you include someone else and like not think about it? Um, so Dr. Ashton's trying to get it off with acetone, and he's like, it's not working. We need to find out like what brand it was. Shocker, they don't know. So Dr. Ashton asks if someone can go by their house and get the glue. And they're like, no, no, that's not possible. And Gray's like, I can do it. Like, what's the address? And so I love how Gray was like, listen, the only person that's supposed to touch my wife this long is me. I
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, he's so fed up with this too. Like, what a weird
right.
day for everyone, truly.
Yeah.
Did you catch Dr. Ashton's face when he said that?
No, I did not.
He looks uncomfortable.
Oh boy.
Like there's more to the story with him and Luna. I'm just saying, there has to be. It's one thing for that flower to be in her console, but like, how are the men's sunglasses in his console or in her console? Like, I want to know because that's not just something that you pick up and like, keep, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, maybe she found them on the ground, but like, why hide them in the console? So
Yeah,
that Wade wouldn't see them? I don't know, kind of weird. So, Gray's like, I just want the address so I can get the glue. Unless there's something there that you don't want me to see. Um, Something that has to do with the firing pin for the handguns on their arms. So Lucy, we go back over to the station. Lucy tells Nolan about the situation that Luna's in and, that the judge signed off on a warrant to go in and search their home. So their secondary assignment's going to have to be identifying the adhesive that they've been using to assemble the ghost guns. Lucy like ran their names and everything. They don't have a criminal record, but they've both filed restraining orders against each other. So Nolan's like, gosh, today is an odd one. Yeah, you could say that again.
right.
Big time. Because everyone's going through it. And Lucy's like, yeah, what's going on with you? And he's like, I can't even explain without crying.
Same dude, same.
Same. I mean, like me on any given day at this point. Like, why
Yeah,
not? So Selena tells Nolan that she let Mark Wyatt go, and his girlfriend corroborated his story about him losing his wallet and was very understanding about their confusion. So I loved how Lucy asked Selena if she wanted to ride with her, and Selena's like, "Can I?" Nolan's like, "Sure." Calls
right.
her a traitor. So they make the switch, even talking a little bit about Tim and him texting his mom. I just love how like Tim is just a natural part of their conversation.
Yo,
I love it. I love it. Also, we need to see like Lucy and her like hang out, like off shift. We have not seen that since Lucy moved out,
mhm,
which Lucy's been spending all of her free time with Tim, which I don't hate. But like, can we
mhm.
get some Lucina moments, please? That's not on shift. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So they arrive at the house, see people carrying boxes with guns, like, putting them into the truck or whatever. So Nolan pulls up next to them. They discuss a plan of what to do, which works well. Nolan drives by. They look to see if he's left, and Selena and Lucy pull up behind him. Nolan then goes to touch the adhesive because, again, he's John Nolan and he's a walking caution sign.
yeah,
You know the situation that Luna Gray is in, and you're just like,
right.
let me reach to see what that is.
Yeah,
I love how Selena was like, that might not be a good idea. And no one's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right.
yeah,
Dude, you're like in your mid 40s, and your previous boot has to tell you to not touch that.
yeah. Age doesn't always mean wisdom.
I mean, okay, you know how people are like, I had an intrusive thought to like touch that when I knew it was hot. I wonder if
Oh,
that was like an intrusive thought for him. Like he was like, let me see what will happen if I touch that.
possibly. Yeah,
Maybe.
suppose so.
But we also know he's a walking caution sign, so he's got to have people like watching out for him.
Yeah,
So he takes a picture, sends it to Gray, and Gray then shows Dr. Ashton the picture of the epoxy. And as Dr. Ashton's looking it up, Gray mentions the sunglasses, giving them back, and he's like, do you know whose they are? And Ashton's like, yeah, I've been looking all over for them. Why were they in Luna's car and how? That is the big question that I want to know. So Dr. Ashton gets the couple apart. Gray and Lucy's like, great, now you're arrested. So the guy tries to make a run for it because of course he does. And they have cops everywhere. As Selena tells him to put his hands behind his back, he can't remove them from the back of his head. And I love how Dr. Ashton was like, oops, I missed some.
Yeah,
I
missed.
was like, this show is so unserious, please. So, so as Wade and Luna are walking to her car after their long day, he finally brings up the flowers and sunglasses, and he's like, is there something going on with you and Dr. Ashton? And he's not accusing her of anything, but after seeing the way that they act together, finding the things in her car, like he just wants to know the truth. And she's like, you have to believe me when I say that nothing's happened between us. And um, she tells him that she does feel something for him. So she says she wasn't looking for it, but over the past year, the world's opened up for her and she's attracted to him. But it doesn't mean that she was planning on acting on it. And so she's like, if you didn't confront me about Dr. Ashton, there's a good chance that I would have worked through all of this without you ever knowing. And Gray's like, yeah, but I also wouldn't have known. And what's to stop you from acting on it? So he says that she needs to say that whatever she feels for this man is over as of now. And she has hesitation. And so Gray just like walks in. He's just like, I need time to think. So Nolan gets home after shift. Quite possibly the cringiest scene. More cringy than the game show. I'm gonna put that out there. Okay.
Nope.
Nolan gets home after shift to find Bailey waiting for him in bed. And I was like, we did not need to see that. I did not need to know that.
Nope.
He's looking forward to spending some time with her, because she's home a week earlier than they thought, but only for 36 hours, apparently. And then he gets a call from Gray. And Gray tells him, him and Luna are in a bad place. He's at a hotel bar where he'll be staying for who knows how long. And I'm like, we've seen this background before, have we not? Like,
Oh,
I think we saw it for Chenford, like the food truck date or whatever, their first date. And then like I feel like similar
oh,
background to Nyla and James's wedding.
mm, I was not paying close enough attention, but probably so, yeah.
But um Bailey knows that he should go, and Nolan's like, no, he won't be sad anymore, and he won't be any more sad in 40 minutes than he will be in 20. And Bailey's like, yeah, that's true. First, they gotta do that before Nolan goes to help Gray.
Yeah.
So that's why we bring Bailey back for 5 seconds
That,
of an episode.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't necessary. It was not necessary.
No,
Also, I don't know. I almost kind of feel like it cheapened the whole Gray and Luna thing. No, not really cheapened it. It just cheapened the whole like interaction with Gray and Nolan.
yeah.
'Cause like,
Well, honestly,
come
just like
on.
kind of cheapens like Balin's relationship because it's like
Yeah.
they literally just got, you know, through a little bit of like a rough patch for them.
Hmm.
And I mean, they're still like working through long distance, but it's like, is that all they care about is the physical side of their relationship, to put it in PG terms? Like,
Yeah.
what is, why? Why
Yeah.
are they always like that?
Well, and I feel like it kind of cheapens Nolan's personality too. Like in a way, because he's always someone who goes and helps his friends. Like he puts his friends first a lot of the time. I get it that like Bailey's home for 36 hours. I get that. But like chances are you're going to be with Gray for like maybe an hour, maybe two. Like you're not going to be with Gray for like, 48 hours. Like you're not.
Right.
Go and meet with him first. Like especially because they've had so many moments this season where they're like giving each other advice, especially about relationships. So like they've grown a lot. Like it was it felt very like jolted in a way. I don't know. It was weird. But it was also a cringy scene that we just did not need, honestly.
No, not
Like,
really.
and then it was weird how Nolan was like, is someone here? And Bailey's like, I'm in the bedroom. No, no, no. It was just weird. It was
Yeah,
weird. But
yeah, it was.
yeah. So we have that. for
Yeah,
the Wade and Luna stuff. They're gonna be okay. I'm choosing to believe that they're gonna be okay.
I sure hope so.
Luna forever. Luna forever.
Yeah,
So take it away with
yeah.
the Chenford.
Yeah, so we saw this first part in like the sneak peek that that was on Access Hollywood, I think. That was
Yeah.
shared. Um, but we see Lucy finding Tim in his office and is like talking to him about this group I can't speak. This group chat that they're in with his mom, Joy. And Lucy wondered, why Tim hasn't responded to anything. And because now Lucy has to be the one to respond to all the texts and things. Um, and Tim told her that she doesn't need to fill the silence and that he'll take care of it. He's seen the Cosmo quizzes that his mom has sent, which means he technically has read the thread according to Lucy. Um, and so it's like, dude, why? You're like digging yourself deeper into a hole there.
Right.
Like, just fix it.
I don't know
Um,
why like he has issues. I understand that why he has issues communicating, but like work on them. Do better. Just
yeah,
communicate. Then you don't have
yeah,
all of this.
right. Yeah. So cut to a little bit later in the episode, and Lucy's putting her phone up to Tim's office window with yet another text from the group chat. So Tim did not take care of it yet, and Lucy ended up calling Tim because she's mad at him, so she didn't want to talk it out in the office. So they talk for a second through the window panes, basically. And Tim promised, that he'll text his mom. Lucy insists on a phone call though, so he can have actual human conversation, which I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Um, and like you had mentioned earlier, even Selena asked Lucy if Tim had talked to his mom yet. So it's like everyone wants to know what
Hmm.
is going on and if Tim's actually gonna work on his communication skills. So we see towards the end of the episode, while Tim's kind of, I guess, dismissing everyone from shift, Lucy actually asks him in front of everyone, mind you, if he's called his mom yet. Um, and Tim's like not even remotely annoyed at all that she asked. Um,
No.
because he promised that he would do it. And so he said that he would, do that when they got home and like we get to see them like walk off together a little bit, being all coupley and cute. Um, and then so it cuts a little bit later to their house and Lucy's on the couch and Tim comes out and she wondered why, it took so long on the phone. And it was a good reason though, because Joy and Tim actually caught up on a lot of different things like work, childhood memories, and even talked about Lucy some. So that's good. Um, and Joy understood about like texting in the group chat that she'd like kind of back off a little bit. It was just that the technology was basically like she was having so much fun. She like wanted to just like share in that with other people, I guess, like not just, using it alone. Um, and Lucy mentioned how she heard about Linda, who was Joy's friend that Tim discussed with his mom earlier, except that fun fact was not in the group chat between Chenford and Joy. That was between Lucy, Joy, and Jenny, who have a separate group chat where apparently vintage pictures of Tim are shared too. So, yeah, safe to say Lucy's fitting right in with the Bradford women of Tim's family
Hmm.
in that group chat thread and everything. And like we have like the nice, like Chenford kiss slash sort of make out
Yeah.
on the couch, which is good. And like they're just so in love, I swear. Like and Tim talking to his mom about Lucy, like if they don't get engaged soon, I swear.
Yeah. I love how he was like, and we talked about you. Like just all
Yeah.
like sweet, doe-eyed, like
Yep.
who knew Tim Bradford was a softie, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
I loved everyone's reaction and expression when Lucy was like, "Great, did you call your mom yet?"
Yeah, she was like, I don't really care what else you're saying. I just want
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. And even Tim was just like, No, not yet. And everyone's like, I'm just gonna go. Like even Selena
Right.
was like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good. Yeah, so that's about it for this episode. It was good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so you can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod underscore or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And we're on TikTok as well at the Shop Talk Podcast underscore. We do have merch as well, shop-talk.dasher.com. And we'll be back next week following 8:10 with a new episode on Wednesday. So bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Go get him, boo.